Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I don't know how to call this issue that we have here. Just read the title. China and India are buying so much Russian oil that Moscow's now selling more crude than it was before invading Ukraine. Now, I don't know, people who decided, there were a few, who decided, not too many, on imposing sanctions on Russia and crude oil and sanctions and, as I said, embargo and so on, price cap and all this. Didn't they foresee this happening? Didn't they think about that happening? I mean, they did or they didn't. So if they didn't, that means they're not very good at, all right? So they made a mistake. Remember, we have two options. They will increase or decrease. You don't have more than, so it's like 50%, 1 in 2. That's an easy, good odds to hit it, if you know what I mean. So if they didn't know, why are they still in power? Why they're still us? Why they're still experts? Because probably they say what they're supposed to. And let's say they knew this is gonna happen. Well, if they knew, why did they do it? Well, the quick answer would be because certain interests profit out of that. Interests that have to profit. That is, we're going to kick Russia out of the European market and we're going to have the other guys come in. I think that's the whole foundation of the game. Russia bad, embargo, sanctions, embargo, and we're going to need it, of course. What are we going to do? We're going to come. The same ones are going to come and provide you. We're going to help you stop relying on Russia because they can blackmail you, but now you're going to rely on us. But we will never blackmail you. Why? Because we determined doesn't matter, that they are the bad ones and we are not the good ones, the perfect ones. Okay? So let's see how what this article has to give us. It's from April 14th, 2023. Russia's exports of crude oil have now surpassed the volume hit before its invasion of Ukraine. Obviously, as I said, the Russians, how should I put it? The problem with the oil is that it's as it is. And then you have the countries, the economies, that sometimes grow, the economies, sometimes they shrink. So the demand grows or shrinks, but the supply is kind of like the same with little adjustments when they say we're not going to pump more oil, we're going to keep it here, so we keep the price up and keep it balanced and so on. Economics, not me, they. So here we have it like that, but it's the same. So if you decide, as Europe, we're not going to buy it from you, we're still going to need it. So we have to find another market. Now, when you find another market, another supplier, now the other supplier doesn't come from the sky. The supplier comes from the supplier is going to stop supplying another market, take that away that he has, and give it to you. So that's going to be, a demand. Who do you think is going to cover that demand? The guys that you kicked out. Unless you are capable in threatening those guys over there, that demand not to buy it and their economy, which they will do this in order to these guys. All right? So it's just a shift around of the same amount of oil, relatively, to the same amount of the market that is over there. Their demand. As I said, demand, it depends on how the economies go and the production is the same. It's not tomorrow going to be more and more because they control everything. So I switch here. Who's making money? So let's say certain companies from United States, let's say they could not compete in natural gas, giving the example, with the Russians or with the crude oil, let's say. They couldn't compete it, so then they kick them out. And these guys are going to need it. They're going to buy from us at our price. There you have it. And those guys are going to be outside. But they're going to find another market and they're going to sell it over there. That's it. But hey, we are independent from the evil Russians. I'm talking about the Europeans. But hey, we are with our friends that have the military on our territory, our friends that I should get rid of the word kind of, control our foreign policy, have our politicians in their ass, and so on. But hey, they are our friends that do not control us. We are in an alliance. That's the euphemism. That's the word we have to use. We are in the European Union all together, all equal. The European Union is aligned, is an ally with the United States through NATO. And not only. So we are, you see, we are like relatives. We're like married. The problem is we're not equal like in a marriage. We are like this. And let's see what's happening here, okay? China and India account for roughly 90% of Russia's seaborne crude exports, Kepler data shows. With Europe largely out of the picture, for the reasons I think they are, the two countries are each buying 1.5 million barrels a day from Russia. Russia has been able to navigate Western sanctions well enough to push oil exports above levels reached before its war on Ukraine, because they sell it at a lower price, so they have to, and whatever they have over there. I think they stopped the production at about 700,000 barrels a day. Russia stopped it. They don't sell it anymore. And new data suggests that Moscow has China and India to thank for that. In the first quarter, Russia's seaborne crude oil exports totaled 3.5 million barrels per day versus 3.35 million barrels in the year-ago quarter, the tail end of what saw the start of Russia's war on Ukraine. The Russians stopped production. They will not sell, as I said, 700,000, because they said, we're not going to do it if there's a price cap. We're not going to sell it to the countries who impose the price cap. China and India now account for roughly 90%. Okay, that's enough to absorb the shipments that no longer head to European nations. So European nations are going to buy oil at a higher price from their friends, which used to account for nearly 2/3 of Russia's crude exports. Europe now takes in only 8% of Russia's oil export per Kepler. Both China and Russia are taking advantage of discounted Russia, are taking advantage because you guys kicked them out of the market. Behind China and India, Turkey and Bulgaria are the biggest buyers of Russian crude. Now, Bulgaria, I didn't cover this, Bulgaria closed its ports for Russian ships about 3 days ago. Bulgaria wants to give its mix 39, not yet, 29 to Ukraine if they receive some money for them. Bulgaria helps Ukraine. Supposedly they send a lot of ammunition to Ukraine and they're buying Russian crude. What the hell is going on? Principles, right? Yes, and values. Even before Vladimir Putin launched his war in Ukraine, hey, unprovoked, you forgot that word right here. China was already a top buyer of Russian crude, importing 25% of its crude from the country in 2021. Today, that's since climbed to 36% from 25 to 36. All right, here we have the ECB chart below shows a similar pattern illustrated by Kepler's data, with Russian seaborne crude exports shifting towards Asian buyers and away from Europe. All right, so let's see what do we have here. So pre-war, this is non-sanctioned countries. This is Asian countries right here. I'm assuming that this is Europe and other countries. So pre-war right here, pre-embargo right here, post-embargo right here. So it increased obviously, and it decreased from Europe. Pre-war right here, dropped here, and dropped here. So Russia says the same thing. Why? For the reasons I mentioned at the beginning of this video. You have roughly the same demand, and you have roughly the same output, or coming from these guys, the supply. So good job. Now, who calculated that? I don't think there were some idiots. I think there were some weasels, if you know what I mean. They said, hey, we're going to kick you out here. We're going to have these guys here. And the question is, are the Europeans paying more for the friends' gas that they now receive, or gas and oil, or less? Well, the easiest way to receive gas and oil, this is seaborne, remember, so they ship it. Now, whatever is got from. Remember, the easiest way is to do it through pipelines. And pipelines come from Russia. They don't come from the United States of America yet. I'm talking about natural gas as well and others. So here is, my friends, it's just a reshuffling of interest and who has what. And now they're going to work, the good people, will work on those countries who buy it from the bad people, not to buy it so they can strangle that. But I don't know if they have that grip yet. They have the grip of about 50 countries on this planet. I'm talking about the good guys, and the rest is still not in their sphere of direct love and happiness, support and alliance. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.